Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the most prestigious evening in podcasts. It is our season finale, the 5th annual edition of the Cinema Effect Awards. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by the qualified draftsman, Jaden.
Hello.
Drafting up something right now.
I'm trying to narrow down my top 3 for TV. I forgot about it.
Oh, no.
Don't worry, I've got it. I just have to re-emphasize it.
Okay, the preparation's on point today.
Mm.
And we've got, of course, our resident Irish citizen, a.k.a. Fitzy, a.k.a. Liam.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, good. Well, yeah, there's no fooling anyone this year because it's clearly morning.
Mm.
Unfortunately. It's just really obvious. Oh, well, what are you going to do? We're dressed to the nines today, as everyone can tell.
At the top half anyway.
I don't want to get up again and reveal I'm wearing trackies.
Yeah. I've got shorts on.
You got shorts on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just see my little booty shorts as I walked back there.
Yeah, that's cute. Yeah.
Mm.
When was the last time you guys wore a tie? Because I was thinking, and I have not worn one since the awards last year.
Last night.
Oh, yeah. Do you wear it at work all the time?
Yeah.
Wow. But not a bow tie, though?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
Last time I wore a bow tie. Jeez. Don't even think I have.
No.
Sure, I've got no information to contradict that. Yeah. What about you, Fitzy?
It'd be like 8 months ago or so. I don't know.
Okay.
The last job interview I had was like, yeah.
Right. Okay. Oh man, yeah. It's just a annual occurrence for the awards for me at this point, but I'm happy to do it. I thought about wearing a different shirt this year, but I thought this is what I wore last year exactly.
Mm.
But then I thought no one saw it last year, so I'll hit the camera this year. Just make sure everyone, gets it out into the world, and then next year I can wear something else. You know what I mean?
Next year I'll forget again and panic and grab the same shirt and same fucking bow tie.
Well, I'm more prepared than you, Jaden, so I don't panic. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But what is that exactly? Because it's like a short sleeve, like collared shirt. It's like, is it like just one color, or is it got little like blotches?
It's got a bit of marbling.
Yeah. There's a little spiral sort of dark pattern going on it.
Mm.
What's the texture like though? Is it like, because it looks
very thin, very like very nice, comfy material.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you do that, it almost looks like a fucking rashi.
It kind of it's got rashy vibes. Like not literally, but you know what I mean. So when I don't know material well enough to actually tell you what it is.
You check the tag, take it off, and have a look.
Patreon only content. Yeah. All right. Well, for the uninitiated, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we would normally review and talk about a different movie every single Monday, but this morning, aka tonight, we're here to celebrate the year of 2024 for cinema and Cinema Effect in our annual awards spectacular. Stick around later in the episode where we will be giving each many awards to the selection of films we reviewed this year on the show. But for all of that, we need to talk about the very best that released in 2024, which of course leads to our first segment of the show, which is our top 5 movies of 2024. We'll each be taking turns. What's up?
I didn't know this was first. I thought the other thing was first. That's fine.
Mate, we've only done it 5 times.
Yeah, this is the big ticket item that, people actually give a shit about.
Yeah, this is like the YouTube, like, put it on the thumbnail, like, this is what people click for. And then, a few people might enjoy the awards at the end, even though they're probably more fun for us. We'll each be taking turns, going around in a circle, revealing our number 5, the number 4 picks, and so on.
All right, I keep going to tally again this year.
I was literally about to say we have the famous patented Cinema Effect point system to determine a definitive combined ranking. And of course, our analyst, Jaden, is back for another year to track the stats as we go on his famous scoreboard, which is going to be a lot of fun. Very nice. Alrighty.
So I keep
fun.
dude, like my whole show is prepped on these little, I can say, the little.
Dude, they're so fucking tiny. Why? Like, you don't like Word docs?
Nah. Oh, my word subscription actually ran out this week.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I really, what's funny is that I've really got no idea what you guys' lists are going to look like. I really don't.
Okay.
Which is exciting, We do it in intro order. So, Jaden, if you don't mind, you can kick us off with your number 5 movie of 2024.
My number 5 film for this year is Oddity. I should probably find out who directed it.
Jaden, hands up, Jaden.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was just checking the director. Yeah,
okay,
my bad.
Sorry.
Yeah, Damien McCarthy's Oddity. It's a horror film out of the UK. I think I spoke about it on Highlights of the Week during the year. Some really brilliant scares. Just a really tight pace. Give it to that.
Nice. Okay. Very good. Oddity, number 5. Do you expect it to come back?
No, I don't think anyone else has seen it. So.
Oh, well, there you go. All right. Oddity gets 1 point. And we'll see what the next film is that will be earning 1 point. Fitzy, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is A Different Man, directed by Aaron Schimberg. It stars Sebastian Stan and Adam Pearson. Yeah, basically it starts off with Sebastian Stan in like heavy makeup, and he has this condition which Adam Pearson has in real life. It's called neurofibromatosis. And basically he undergoes this this transformation, becomes Sebastian Stan, but he still has the internalized issues from how he was perceived in his past, I guess. And then Adam Pearson comes along, and he's like this like confident version of his past self, and he kind of envies all the attention that he gets. Which sounds, the film sounds kind of didactic in a way, like it's very like message based, but it's a very interesting film. It's very entertaining. It's got this kind of comedy of errors, like Coen Brothers almost vibe to it. Just the kind of random shit that happens in the film, and it's kind of Kaufman-esque, I guess. And the kind of absurdity of some of the shit that happens. So yeah, it's a very fun time, despite it being like, very heavy in its kind of messaging. It does have like enough interesting stuff to say about like how you kind of internalize the past and stuff. So it was definitely a film that surprised me and was good. So yeah, that's my 5th.
Nice. That sounds really interesting. So was it actually Sebastian Stan in makeup at the start?
Yeah. Me and Andy were talking about it because like it looked very real. It was very well done, but you could hear Sebastian Stan's kind of voice just underneath it.
Right.
Yeah, and it's actually funny. Like it's you can kind of compare it to like The Apprentice in a way, and just like the makeup, the character acting, the kind of the transformation and everything. So there are so many like parallels, but he is in makeup at the start, and it's pretty fantastic. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, that's a good number 5. I want to check that out. My number 5 goes to a film that I feel very much deserves this spot. I'm very happy for it to be on my list, but I feel like people are going to be mad it's not higher, and that is of course Dune Part 2, because Denis Dune Part 2 was an awesome film, masterfully constructed as you'd expect. Going to see that 70mm IMAX, just a mesmerizing cinematic experience. Everyone, cast and crew, Greg Fraser, everyone firing on all cylinders in this film. It was an awesome achievement. You know what I mean? A pure technical masterpiece, as it were. And it's a film that I appreciate immensely. And just, as we sort of talked about in our review, almost like 9 months ago or whatever it was, just had some reservations on the story, but it had tons of really interesting themes. And it's one that I feel like on a rewatch, it's going to land. It's going to really click into place for me in terms of my expectations and knowing where it goes and stuff. So, but right now, so I feel like it could end up higher, I guess. But right now, number 5 feels appropriate. And it had to make the list because it was an awesome experience for sure. So Dune gets a point. We'll see if it gets more. We'll see. Jaden, back to you with number 4.
We're reaching Shivers territory now. You know, we're reaching films from this point onwards. I had physical reaction to, you know, goosebumps and shit, and like shivers down your spine and stuff.
Wow.
Sometimes multiple instances. Number 4 for me is Josh Cooley's Transformers 1.
Wow.
It is phenomenal. I only spoke about it a couple of weeks ago on the show, I think in the highlights to you guys. It really blew me out of the way, out of the water. Like, you know, as a Michael Bay fan, as a defender of the live action stuff, which I do love, I wasn't overly keen on this one. I wasn't overly hopeful that it was going to be a decent product, but yeah, it shocked me in every way, and it was fantastic from start to end. Voices, you know, editing, cinematography, everything about it. You know, cinematography in an animated film is always an interesting thing, but like, if the camera exists, then the cinematography is, you know, the thing.
Sure. Yeah.
And yeah, it's just really brilliant. Transformers 1, number 4.
Nice. Very good. Okay. Nice to get an animated film on here. Not the one I necessarily would have expected, you know, in lots of people's top 5s.
I haven't seen Wild Robot.
Neither have I. But, I mean, obviously Inside Out 2 is my number 1 as a spoiler.
Is that even from this year?
Yeah.
It is
this year.
Yeah.
That was a really great film, guys. Anyway. Number 4, Fitzy.
My number 4 is a film that may or may not show up again. Who knows? Us in the Night, directed by Audrey Lamb, which is an Australian indie film from this year, set in like a library. It's about these 2 people who frequent the library. It's they're librarians, and it's crazy. But what is it exactly? I don't know. It's people discovering the world through books. I don't know. It's it can't really be described too well in terms of. I mean, the film doesn't have a plot or anything. It's basically just like a soundscape of like various like experiences and like reflections they have on the library and the books that they've read and they kind of experience with the library itself. The film like makes good use, pretty much as good use as you can of like the library space, like coming up with like creative shots. I guess it's most impressive for its like sound, I guess. A lot of ocean stuff and a lot of reflective kind of poetry stuff, and I don't know, it's hard to describe it. The film really works.
I assume this was a myth film for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
No, not for me. It was.
Wait. You should.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I watched it. Sure.
Yeah. Very good. We all went to myth, so you know, checks out. All right, number 4 for me is a film that's already come up, but I'm going to put it on the scoreboard, and that is The Apprentice. This was a really engaging watch for me. Fitzy and I had a little date and enjoyed that. Might have knocked it up, you know what I mean? I really, really enjoyed this film. It surprised me in numerous ways. Sebastian Stan as Trump was just really great in a way I didn't expect. And the way I eased into that performance as the film went on was probably the most interesting part. We talked about how, you know, when it started, I felt like I was just watching Sebastian Stan with Trump hair and how that was kind of weird. And it was just crazy how much like the film knew what it was doing and how the performance really just came into its own or like revealed itself to just ease into it in a way that just ended up being totally believable by the end. It was a very interesting experience in that sense, in how it progresses. It just totally wins you over. And of course, Jeremy Strong, phenomenal, incredible screen presence, just made me laugh many times with his glares in this film. So yeah, it was definitely a memorable one I watched at the cinema this year. So it makes number 4 for me. Jaden, I think now it's starting to get into potentially influential territory with the points when we start delving out 3 points here. So you're number 3, Jaden.
My number 3 is it sat at number 2 for so long and was only recently dethroned this week. It's Fede Alvarez's Alien Romulus. This was another one that was phenomenal. This one I expected a little bit more from, just as an Alien fan, as a fan of the modern Alien films, and a fan of Fede as well, and his work in horror. I was expecting it to be decent, but I wasn't expecting it to be that good. There, like I said, we're getting into Shivers territory. There's multiple times where I kind of felt like I was just like watching mouth agape and just, in shock at, things happening, the way it looks, what's going on with characters' story, performances, even some of the performances. We'll get into that later. Brilliant. It really was fantastic. It's one of the strongest films of the year. Yeah, Alien Romulus number 3.
Nice. Okay. I'm just thinking about what unseated it this week. I think I've got an idea, but very cool. Fitzy, number 3.
Number 3 is Dune, part 2. Part 2. Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it all right. Just some technical mastery going on down here. Yeah, the kind of mystical elements that they added in this, that are kind of in the book, were very well executed. I think it kind of raised the first one to like a different level of kind of consciousness, I guess. It just felt more holistic, more interesting. I did say I preferred the first one because the first one just has, I think, it's an amazing kind of pace and atmosphere. But I think the second one really delivers in telling the second half of this grand story. And yeah, I also really want to rewatch it because I think just the second half of this film really delivers. Yeah, Dune Part 2. Me. Number 3.
Nice. But why wasn't it number 1?
Is anyone actually sad about it? No one's actually complaining about that.
I don't know. I feel like didn't everyone give this movie 5 stars? Like literally everyone.
Oh right, yeah. It was very I can't forget about that.
I saw on Twitter yesterday the guy that went and saw it 40 times. Who you'd think it'd be number 1 film of the year. He watched A Complete Unknown once, and that went to his number 1.
Really?
Yeah.
That's bizarre. Okay.
So it's just a Chalamet lover.
Fan, yeah.
Perhaps, more screen time.
That's so funny. I don't. So yeah, do you reckon like that whole aspect of everyone thinking this is the best film ever made immediately when they saw it, has it worn off a little bit? Maybe, like in the awards conversation. I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't change the fact that it's a fantastic film.
Of course not. Yeah, but I feel like people level it out more to where we were at the start. I don't know.
Yeah, I forgot the whole best sci-fi film of all time comments that came out really early on, but yeah, I mean maybe it's just maybe people still feel that way. It's just there's no reason to mention it now. It might come back.
Yeah, it was a moment
or something. But,
yeah, that makes sense. All right, very very cool. Number 3 for me is M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong's Trap. I had such a great time watching this movie with Andy in the cinema. It was my favorite cinema experience of the year. And the vibe was so strong between us watching this movie because as it was going, as the concert section of the film was ramping up, Andy and I were just I don't know if he'd agree with this, but I felt like we were just in sync in terms of cringing, just reacting, laughing, looking at each other in shock when he's when goddamn, oh my god, what's his name? The lead actor, Josh Hartnett. When Josh Hartnett's just scraping by and all this stuff, we're looking at each other laughing. It was such a great time. I don't know. I feel like we were just on the perfect wavelength to watch it together. And I had such a fun time in the concert section of the film. I thought it was just incredibly well executed, really immersed me in that event, in that section. And it was just such a unique concept that created such great tension. It lost me a bit when we left the concert, because that sort of the film sort of becomes a bit of a different thing in the third act. But even that still provided its own entertainment in how bizarre and out there some of the moments were. And I think anyone who's seen it knows what I mean. We're just what? So there's some pretty nutty stuff that goes on where it's that makes no sense, but that was still fun in its own way. It just sort of shifted. But so Trap was a very memorable, fun experience for me this year, and I have to give it number 3 for that reason. The concert section was just genuinely very impressive in my opinion. I feel like people might sleep on it. If the whole thing was that, masterpiece right there, maybe. So yes, number 3 points to Trap. Okay. We're getting up there now. Number 2.
Dude, I actually felt a little sugar down my spine as I was thinking about this film. This shocked me to no ends because for one, I'm not a fan of kind of what's come before it. My number 2 is The First Omen by Akasha Stevenson. I'm not a huge fan of the original Omen. It's always felt like a shitty kind of, like, I don't know, trying to cash in on the Exorcist kind of hype of the 70s kind of supernatural horror type thing. And so it just felt a bit weaker in every aspect of that. So, like, The Omen is not something I've ever felt connected to, and why I had doubts about this one. But it just blew me away. Now Tiger Free gives the performance of the year. I say that without a question without a doubt in my mind, you know. I think I've seen 50-odd films so far, and I don't expect that to change over the next, you know, however many I need to watch to round out the year. She is superb in this. The film is just superb in every other way as well. It is shot exceptionally. It's something that you don't really see. It looks like it's I don't really want to say it's one of the best looking horror films I've seen in a long time, because horror often does look great, because as it is a genre film, they often do have their chance to go a bit more expressionist in the way that they shoot and light and kind of stage things. But the way that it goes about it with an almost like artistic kind of it's a very, like, I don't know, kind of like classical artistic kind of lens that so much of the film is framed through, and the horror and the story that it kind of has is brilliant. And dude, this was the shock of the year to me, pretty much, because this one is the one that just blew me out of the water to no ends.
Awesome. Wow. Okay. There's nothing better than that when you have, you know, low expectations or no expectations. That's awesome. All right. 4 points go to The First Omen. Fitzy.
My number 2 is Dying, which is another film I saw at Myth. Which was kind of an awards favorite, I think. It's an epic 3-hour German film. It's a chaptered story about this kind of dysfunctional German family, and yeah, I don't know. It's kind of another one that's hard to talk about, because it's not really about anything in particular. It's just about life and family and stuff. So yeah. I don't know. I guess it's more. It is about the kind of dysfunction in the family and the kind of, the distance that they kind of have between each other. But like every chapter of this and every kind of person that they follow in the family just has their own, insanely engaging, interesting story, and it's all fraught with kind of, sickness and issues, depression, mental issues, physical sickness, just like shit related to dying, just bad stuff. And yeah, it's like the main character is like an opera. He's a conductor, and the whole film just kind of feels like that. It feels like operatic in how it kind of, combines all these kind of symphonies together, all these different people. So it's really a special film from this year, and that's fantastic.
Awesome. I remember you telling me about this one after you saw it, and it sounded really interesting and still does. So,
what did I say then? Because I can't say anything now. Like, what did I say then?
This was one this one was really long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, and it was just. Yeah, I remember you talking about the family. I mean, it's pretty much what you said. You're talking about the family drama and the strong, the existential themes at times, and yeah.
It was very funny too. There was this whole. Me and Andy were in this massive theater for it, and there's like 10 or 20 minute long extended kind of comedic sequences that everyone was cracking up at. So that was a great theater experience as well.
Yeah, nice.
But was it a myth laugh or was it a genuine laugh?
No, people were laughing. It wasn't like a. It wasn't like a. Like a sophisticated myth laugh. No, it was really.
Okay.
Is that what you mean?
Is that what a myth laugh
what
is?
is
No,
myth laugh?
I just meant the way that like people force out laughs at myth, like they did with Past Lives.
As in, because they know the filmmaker is present.
Yeah, but then also like there was a couple other times this year where like there was a couple other films I felt like there was just forced reactions because like I felt like they maybe people are just more expressive than me, but I just feel like going to see a myth film like it's just exaggerated like the crowd noise. I don't know.
Yeah, there might be something to that. I don't know. Everyone feels like they're there together. At the film festival, you feel like you got to participate more. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. You guys are making me self-conscious talking about all these goddamn films you saw at MIF and these interesting smaller films.
I've only mentioned genre films, but
yeah, I know, but I don't know.
Mainly me.
Yeah, it is mainly for you, even though you're still doing better than me, Jaden, and that's going to be exemplified even more by my number 2, which is the most Hollywood thing I've ever seen in my life, and that's why it was so awesome, and that's Gladiator 2, because this film was just fantastic. I was so blown away by it, considering, we're Gladiator haters. I feel like our perspective is so, I always knew that our perspective was unique in that way, but like, especially after it, like I listened to some other people's reviews of Gladiator 2 after we did ours, and I was just so surprised by like how everyone was like, literally, I didn't hear a single person that didn't have the take, it was good, but not as good as the first one, and why'd they bother trying to do another one when they had the first one? And I'm just like, it's just funny how I'm just on such a different universe to that, But so that's always interesting, and that's obviously a huge part of why I thought this film was so awesome. Just Hollywood blockbuster entertainment at its finest, with an absolute expert behind the camera, crafting everything to where, and crafting and doing so in a much more sophisticated way than he did in the first one. Hot take or not, I don't care. It's true. It's actually like factual. Awesome performances, awesome scale, just a great ride. You know what I mean? Everything you want from going to the cinema to see a film like that, in my opinion. And I think people need to let go of the first film and just fucking give up on it and just embrace entertainment for what it truly is in Gladiator 2. You know what I mean?
Do your parents see Gladiator 2 and feel the same way? Because like Luke saw Gladiator 2, felt the same way. My parents saw Gladiator 2, felt the same way. It's like, it's not just podcast people, it's like everyone, it's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about the first.
I think Ridley would appreciate that we still like his films as he continues to make them.
I think so too. Maybe do you reckon that's our win to get him on the show?
Yeah, you only got better, mate.
Yeah, he'd probably agree. That's the thing. I think a lot, as a lot of critics and fans out there like to hold older things in higher regard, I think he'd like to think that he's only getting better.
It's interesting that one of the things I saw following Gladiator 2 was that you mentioned how like they were filming with like 8 cameras at once, something like that, to kind of catch all angles so they didn't have to reset and stuff. And we're talking about that from like an efficiency standpoint, and also just really knowing what he's doing now and like kind of how he wants to go about it. I saw quite a lot of criticism for that because I think one of those big accounts made a tweet about it, and like I was reading through the comments and everyone's like, "Oh, it's lazy. It shows that there was no care for the film." And it's like, he should have taken his time. Like, he's fucking 90. He can't take his time, man. But also, like if you like, it's just interesting to see that people like taking it as like lazy or uncreative or whatever, and then we have kind of the opposite on that standpoint alone. So
that's so bizarre to me. That sounds so pretentious to me. I mean, not that you're just telling me about this now for the first time. That sounds so bizarre to me. I don't know what. So he worked smarter and made a better product,
and they think he doesn't care.
All right, guys, no problem. All right, it's just what it looks like when you ascend to the next level as a director. That's what it looks like. You know what I mean? Anyway, I feel strongly about that. Obviously, Gladiator 2, 4 points. All right, here we go.
Do you want to know who's currently in the lead because he can't win?
Yeah, sure.
Dune's in the lead
with how many points? 5 points.
4 points. But it's just that since two people voted for it, it takes priority over our force.
Well, the fact you said it can't win means that it wasn't your number one, obviously.
Oh,
that's the only way it could win.
Yeah.
But yes, Jaden, what is your number one?
My number one is now. Zach, bear with me here. It's Osgood Perkins's Long Legs.
Oh, I figured. Yeah.
It's the only film I'll rewatch this year, and I rewatched it like fucking 4 times. I'm making an edit for it. I've never made an edit for a film before. Like, it's fucking.
Oh my god, that's awesome!
Holy shit! This film took me a fucking dude. I loved it. Like, I'm a big fan of Osgood. Mostly, I think that he misstepped on his first feature, but The Black Red Sword is fantastic. And I think this is another brilliant kind of chapter in his filmography. Oh, dude, I don't know. It just gets my rocks off. I think Monroe and Cage are fantastic. I think what Osgood has done here and kind of restamping himself as, I think he kind of restamped himself as one of the pioneers of how the genre looks at the moment, because he kind of came through in this period of time where horror was changing, especially on the indie scene, and then that identity started becoming more mainstream with your A20 film or 4 films like Hereditary and Talk to Me and whatever. And he got to a point where, he was getting criticized for Gretel and Hansel for kind of copying the aesthetic, but he was the crafter. And I think with this, he's kind of restamping himself as someone with his own vision and someone who's continually pushing forward. I don't know. Like, he took the blueprint of Silence of the Lambs and he acknowledges that as much. He talks about how Silence of the Lamb was the bare bones of it, but that's all it was. It was just skeletal, just so people could have an idea that what he was working with. But then talking about his influence and seeing how they were dragged in, and then what the story's about and how he feels about it. Dude, I just fucking love it, man. So fantastic. Dude, I can't gush about this film enough. And I think it goes to a big testament to the first Omen, actually, is that in that, when I watched it this week, it seriously thrown in my mind for isn't number one. But no, Long Legs keeps that for now. So great job, Osgood.
Very nice.
Congratulations. I'm going to write down my prediction for your guys, by the way, just because.
For the record, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty goddamn easy, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, number one is Challenges, obviously. Most exciting film of the year.
Right there. Yep.
That's so small I couldn't even say that. Yeah, no, it was a banger. It was just amazingly it was just kinetic, filmmaking, psychologically piercing, kind of the freaking yeah, I know, I'm using big words here. The kind of the editing is amazing. The jumps, the back in the kind of non-linear storytelling was great. And just the 3 characters are all like very well defined in their kind of motivations, in their personality, and how they deal with the world. And
can you name all 3 characters, just out of curiosity? It's been a while since you've seen them.
Good question. Shit.
Mike Faced, Josh O'Connor, and Zendaya. Those are the 3 characters.
And Zach, now you need to carry over the other part. What are their?
Yeah, they're actual characters' names.
Oh my god, I don't know if I could get them. No.
Yeah, really well defined characters there. That's a.
What's in the name? I rose by any other name. Art and Patrick. Okay, and Zendaya's
Tashi.
Tashi. You watched it this week, okay? So you can shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, like I don't know what your problem was with the score as well, James. I thought this was one of the best scores.
Because it sounds copyright free at fucking points, man.
No,
bro. No.
Look, I'll concede that. Like the tracks I listened to first were the worst of the tracks on there. Like I'll concede that point. There are some decent tracks, but there are multiple points there where like.
What about yeah? Yeah, that's right. The egg. Look, shit's pumping, bro. I don't know what you're on about, but yeah, and the tennis, the fucking the actual coverage of the sport was amazing too. I was just like that game, and it's just completely brilliant and interesting, and yeah, I don't know. I think there's the kind of trajectories you see with the three characters well, and the way it kind of coincides together at the end is like it is peak. The ending is amazing. So yeah.
You all know what time it is, and it is Luca Guadagnino's Challenges. Of course, gets my 5 points. I feel so good. 2 years in a row, my number one gets backed up by one of you to boost it and win, just like that. Love that. Yeah. Love that for me. Oh, Fitzy nailed it. I love it when you said psychologically piercing. I love that. That's, oh my God, that's like exactly what it was. The nonlinear editing and storytelling was phenomenal and just kept me guessing the whole time as to how this shit was going to play out because I really had no idea. I was on the edge of my seat by the end. The score was phenomenal. I think, you know what it was? I think the final tennis sequence with the fucking, the whole thing, but with the fucking shots following the ball and shit. And that score going, that shit changed my brain. I'm not going to lie. That shit was insane.
Why do so many people say that?
Because it's fucking phenomenal.
I don't understand that. What do you mean?
It's I felt it. I felt it so hard. I feel like maybe is there like a tennis? There's got to be like a tennis parallel there to make. I don't know, some sort of a metaphor. I don't know, but yeah, this movie was awesome. Fitzy was totally right in everything he said, and that's why Challenges gets my 5 points. Never would have expected that before I watched it either. That was another one where I went in with I went in with very neutral expectations. It's like,
call me by your name.
No, I didn't like it when I watched it. No, but I watched that. God, that was so long ago. I don't even know how I'd feel about it now.
Interesting stuff.
Jane's clearly devastated.
No, it's a good film. It's
okay.
Yeah. It's a solid 13th on my list.
Oh, okay. Well, dude. I'm shocked Zendaya got that high. You know what I mean? On your list. That's cool. All right. There it is. So, Jaden, what's the scoreboard look like exactly now?
In number 3 is Dune. It's actually still Dune.
Okay.
Just on 4 points because it shared points. Yep. Number 2, Longlegs.
Nice.
5 points. And then Challenges, of course, with 10 points rounding out the year.
Awesome. Okay. Wow.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to do honorable mentions. Fuck, dude. No,
we're doing it now. I was about to ask.
Ah, shit.
Yeah. Don't steal my thunder, mate.
Sorry, man.
Jaden, did you have any honorable mentions by chance?
No, not really. It was kind of shit, yeah. No, I'm just fucking.
It's actually my real answer.
No, yeah, I had 3. I think I was talking to you guys about how I had a really well-defined top 5 for a long time, and there was never really any bleed. But then I kind of, in these last 2 weeks, I've started getting a bit of that. A huge shout out to Us in the Night, which Liam mentioned. It is a fantastic film. It is fantastic in its craft. And hearing Audrey talk about it and how it was like a 12-year process and kind of influences and things that seem to be influenced but aren't, it was really nice. So huge shout there. Big shout to Alex Garland's Civil War. It threatened the top 5, but then I couldn't really do it, I think. And then also huge shout out to The Organist. Not only because my friend, did the score to it, but also because it is a pretty good just Australian black comedy. It's got a fun premise and it is funny throughout. And, made on a shoestring, so got to respect it. And it's a solid 9 out of 10 film.
That's very solid indeed. Yeah, nice. Like I said, I actually have no honorable mentions, to be honest. I mean, I saw some other good films, but like my list was pretty clear to me when I started putting it together.
Yeah, you kept on saying just something really, you kept on like kind of defining this as like a weaker year for film. But
it wasn't me.
Yeah, I just think one of the reasons I never felt that was because like of how spoiled we are in the horror genre. Like 4 of my top 5 are horror, and then you've got some other brilliant stuff around. I mean, Trap, if you want to define as that. The Organist, is technically it's branded as horror. And then, just there are like the Laser Frankenstein and there's like some other fun kind of horror films from the year. So it never felt like a weak year to me, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Did you end up with a few, Fitzy, honorable mentions?
Furiosa is one.
Yep.
And then two films that are on YouTube that are from kind of YouTube comedian people. Number one is Rap World, which is from Connor O'Malley, I think, Connor something. It's like technically a period piece, so in like 2009, 6, I don't know, late 2000s. About some guys trying to make a rap album in one night, and they kind of get up to all sorts of shenanigans. It's very funny. And then The Text, which is a film from Joel Haver, which is kind of this one-shot film, follows Dax Flame, who's like he's a comedian. And he kind of sends this, it's like a night, the day after kind of thing, where it's the day after he sends this really embarrassing text to his ex, and the boys have to kind of do the damage control, and the anxiety just kind of ramps up as it goes along, because another character gets introduced, and it just kind of the tension constantly kind of bubbles, and it's just very funny as well, because like Joel Haver is known for his kind of improvisational kind of all his kind of actors kind of participate, I guess, in the improv and the impromptu, and it's just very, very funny stuff, very good stuff. So yeah, some 50-minute films there. If you want to watch those.
Nice. Some would say that doesn't count as a film, but
the Academy would disagree, because it's about 40 minutes, but that's all right.
Sure, as they claim. Yeah. All right.
Just before we move on, sorry.
Yes.
What's the big ticket item for you guys to check off on 2024 that you haven't seen yet?
Yeah. It's probably Conclave for me, which we're gonna get to. So.
Mine's Juror number 2 and Nosferatu.
Yeah, I'm Juror number 2 for me too.
Yeah, probably Nosferatu for me as well. Maybe Substance. I'd say that the big two. Yeah.
Very cool. Now it's time to move on to our top 3 TV series of 2024. Here we go. Same deal applies. Top 3 this time. The only criteria is that, of course, the show had to have a season, which released in 2024. There you go. I'm curious. I mean, we'll obviously get the list out, but I'm also curious to see like how our lists compare in terms of like, I had a weaker film year, but I'll say right away, had a strong TV year. So I think that might switch up between us as well. So we'll see. Jaden, do you want to kick us off with your number 3?
Yeah. My just to get straight on it, like this was a weaker year for TV for me, just because I feel like even though I've seen some decent products, like none of these really look like strong products to me.
Okay.
Kicking off, I'll go with Bad Batch season 3. I think it's the best of the Star Wars content we did get this year between, some of the others. I think Acolyte was fantastic as well. Just I don't want that to seem like a besmirchment of that show.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Bad Batch season 3 was fantastic. I think it was a fun way to tell an animated series. A fun way to not fun. I think it was a great way, a cool way to tell an animated series set in the Star Wars universe. Great way to wrap up, the Clone Wars story that we've had going for, like 15 years now, more.
Almost 20, coming up to 15, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really impressive. It continued to impress me and get better, with just the way it's animated shot, and I think it's a really mature way of telling a story.
Yeah, and they stuck with the 3 seasons, which was nice. Felt right, felt nice. Yeah, cool, good choice. Number 3 for you, Fitzy.
Yeah, this was an extremely weak year for TV for me. These top 3 are like 3 out of the 5 things I did watch from this year. So number 3 is kind of a cringe choice, but that's what I'm here for. Number 3 is Baby Reindeer, which is a Netflix miniseries. Kind of starts off with this this funny kind of stalker thing, which obviously gets more serious as the series progresses, but it develops new layers about halfway through, and once those layers kind of stack on top of each other and kind of reflect on the first few episodes and why Martha is stalking him in the first place. Because you kind of the show kind of comes full circle, and I think that's the best thing the show does. It makes you understand Martha's mindset by the end of the show from the guy's perspective, which was really interesting. It wasn't something that I expected. I mean, the show should also just be should be like congratulated, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, for its like vulnerability from the guy who told this very personal story, and he's kind of So number 3 is Baby Reindeer.
When you say it was a cringe choice, do you mean because it was so popular, like because it had its moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really cringe, but like it's. I think the first few episodes and the kind of perception of the show, it looks like this kind of light-hearted stalker thing, and it is for the first little bit, but it does become a lot deeper as it goes along. Yeah, I guess that it was so popular, and the fact that I don't have much else is another reason I was cringe about. Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure. Sorry, Jen, I interrupted.
Nah, it's not worth it. Like it.
You sure? Okay,
yeah,
no worries. My number 3 goes to FX's. I always feel like I can't say Shogun. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it has to be like Shogun. Shogun. Got to have a bit of,
Yeah, I'll draw the accent on top of the O as I'm writing it down for you.
Okay. Yeah. That's right. The nice little line above the O. Shogun was a really quality show. For me this year, it basically won all the Emmys and shit. Good for them. It's definitely well deserved in certain places. I didn't fall in love with it. Mainly just because I don't know. There was some story things and moments that I feel like weren't entirely conveyed clearly to me. But maybe if we reviewed it, you guys would think I'm stupid. You probably would actually, but that's really the only thing that held me back. There were some times I was kind of like trying to piece things together, really. But overall, though, definitely a really strong show with really strong performances from, of course, one of the GOATs, Hiroyuki Sanada. Anna Sawai, I think is how you say her name, came in as lead actress, won that Emmy, and she was phenomenal. What the hell's going on?
Sorry.
I feel like when I was given you given an award speech, I feel like I was being played off stage.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Please wrap up.
No. That's your sounded.
That's what it was. Anna was phenomenal as a show. I feel like she's a newcomer. The main dude, I think his name's Cosmo Jarvis. I think is his name. The main Western dude. He had a great accent in this show, dude. He'd always talk about I can't believe I'm here in the Japans. It was a great accent. And he always call them the Japans, and I thought that was so sick for some reason. But yeah,
you should
realization of the
you should
setting,
say that when you go there next year. Say I can't believe I'm in Japan to everyone
right.
you met. Yeah,
go up in 7-Eleven like I'm here in the Japans. Yeah. Great realization of the setting. The most interesting thing about the show is that I don't know if you guys have seen that main poster they use of Hiroyuki's mate. I don't know, he's the Lord guy. I don't know his character's name is anymore. But he's riding in on a horse into battle. That is such a false representation of what the show is in a very interesting way, and it's a positive for me where this show has so little action in it. It is very much a political arena show. Characters talking, characters maneuvering each other. And that's what makes it really, really fun. I was expecting more over a few episodes we might have a big action sequence. Never really happened. Every now and again you get some hand-to-hand combat stuff thrown in sort of big moments of climactic tension, which are really strong as well. But there's no big battle sequence in the show. And I really liked it for that. Focused a lot more on the characters. So yeah, memorable show for me this year. Number 3 goes to Shogun for sure. Number 2, Jan.
Number 2. I reckon there might be a little bit of overlap on number 2. We'll see. Number 2 for me is Three Body Problem. It's a pretty great little series that Netflix made early in the year. It's got a fantastic cast. It's I mean, the best part of it really is the story. It is a phenomenal story. It is the type of story that you wish you could fucking think of. You know, the thing that continually amazes me about sci-fi is just like these worlds that people create, and you're like, fuck, man. Like, I wish, you know, something like this could conjure up in me. It is so intelligent and kind of just, I don't know, brilliant. I think the dual storylines is fantastic, and yeah, I think I never really experienced the impact of some of the reveals to the extent that you did, Zach. All the way, I don't know. It seems like you kind of felt some of the big moments a bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was consistently pretty great throughout, and pretty. It played on my emotions a bit more by the end than I kind of expected it would have.
All right, Fitzy, number 2.
My number 2 is another miniseries, another Netflix miniseries, One Day.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. I mean, I talked about this in highlights, but I think there was definitely had some resistance to it earlier on. But I think, you know, the format, the idea of just, you know, following these people from one day, if you can imagine, once every year it really does kind of win you over time. And I think the more layers that are added to the relationship over time also just it was really fantastic. And I think by the 5th or 6th episode it was when I was kind of hooked into the show.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like really, like, it's definitely one of the most just like emotionally invested and just kind of, you know, kind of crushing shows from this year. So yeah, watch it at your own kind of peril, I guess. But it was really fantastic in the end. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I totally agree. It took a few episodes for it to get me as well, but it did end up getting me. For
Yeah,
sure. And shout out by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say Leah to Leah Woodall. What were you gonna say?
Oh yeah. I was gonna say shout out to the. Yeah, no, you shout out first.
Yeah, no, Leah was fantastic as this kind of troubled rich kid, I guess. Yeah, a bit of a playboy kind of guy who became better as time went on. So yeah, he was great, and I mean he's a great actor as well. Like the difference between his character in this and freaking the White Lotus is like pretty magnificent. Yeah. His range is great. So yeah, upcoming TV actor, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe he'll cross over into the cinematic realm. Who knows? But sorry, I was just going to shout out the episode run times because these episodes are like some of them are like 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
Shout out to that.
Super digestible. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. All right, my number 2 goes to Apple TV Plus's Presumed Innocent. This firmly had the number 2 spot when I finished it. It was a very engaging watch based on a book. I feel dumb. I feel like because apparently there's a Harrison Ford movie with this too back in the day. So I think maybe that's a reason like it had more impact on me. Is that because I feel like this show, like people enjoyed it, but I feel like I'm definitely going to be the strongest on it of like anyone I've heard of. And like if you guys watched it hypothetically, you know, just because I feel like it's sort of a known quantity out there. I didn't know that. So like I just went into it as a fresh thing and thought it was apparently, you know, as an adaptation, apparently, you know, it's obviously very good. But
wait, is Harrison Ford in this as well?
No.
Oh, because when you said it, I thought it was a Harrison Ford one.
No, so Harrison Ford did a movie in the 90s of it, I think.
Did he do another Apple TV show this year?
He's in Shrinking, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's in Shrinking.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying. No, Jake Gyllenhaal's the lead in this one. He's phenomenal. He's Jake at his, he's peak Jake here of what you'd sort of want from him throughout the series. You got some other great supporting actors in there, like Peter Sarsgaard was awesome as well. So shout out to him. And just, like I said, if someone who didn't know this story, didn't know it was even based on anything, it was a very cool story with a very cool ending. And the thing about the show as it went was like, I got so wrapped into the courtroom drama of it, which I'm a sucker for that as well. That's worth pointing out. But it did such a good job of that I ended up not even really caring about like, because it's like, who killed the person, obviously. It's like what it is. It's like a mystery aspect to it.
I didn't need to know that.
It's like what the whole thing is of like, did he do it or not, basically. And it sort of became, it got to a point where I sort of didn't care anymore in a good way. Whereas like I just became so obsessed with like, as the title implies, it's very much about the burden of proof and if he can get off whether he did it or not kind of thing. And I became so invested in just that side of it that I ended up by the end not even really thinking too much about who actually did it. And then when they did reveal who actually did it, I was like, oh, that was almost like the cherry on top. Like that was well done too, but I almost didn't even need it. Like that's how the way the show didn't have to rely on its mystery to get me engaged was a strong aspect. Yeah. So yeah, number 2 for me this year was a really good show. I've just had an epiphany of what your number ones are, and it's annoying. So let's get out of the way, Jan. Number 1.
Yeah, it's Arcane.
Oh shit! That's not what I thought you were going to. Sorry, I'm such an idiot. No, this is way better than I thought. Keep going.
Did you think it was going to be The Bear?
Yeah, sorry.
No, The Bear this year was mid. The first episode was great, but the rest of it was kind of not what season 2 and 1 was. Cool. Yeah, I'll check out Arcane this week. I think it's a weaker season than the first one. I don't think it's as tight. But to say that, like, it's it's still leaps and bounds ahead of so much other fucking shit we got today. It continues to be visually just one of the most impressive things I've seen in animation and just in kind of real life, kind of not real life, and kind of like, what do you call it, like live action shooting. I think the way that shots are composed and constructed, in that you don't have limitations of physical cameras of this as well, is fantastic. I think the first 2 acts are really close to the quality of season 1, but I think that I get a bit lost in the third act as the story kind of expands a little bit more. But no, to think that this all came from League of Legends fucking blows my mind, man. Yeah, it's fantastic. I think it's interesting just watching Ella Purnell in Fallout and then just her voice performance in this. Obviously they're very different characters, so it's hard to give a 1-to-1 judge. But like, and I guess in Fallout she never really gets the chance to be overly expressive. But like, what she does as Jinx is really kind of fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I tried so hard to finish this show this week, and I failed. I've got 2 to go. I'm 7 episodes in. Yeah, so that's a bummer. But I'll smash it out very, very soon. Yeah. Some of what you're saying is curious for where I'm at. I'm curious about what you're saying. I feel like I've got to finish it, and we'll talk about it for sure. Yeah, but yeah, quality choice for sure. Arcane. Okay. I know. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I feel bad about misjudging you. Fitzy, number 1.
My number 1 isn't The Bear. It's House of the Dragon. Season 2.
Very good.
I almost don't want to write that down.
We can try it then again, Jada.
Did you watch season 2?
No, because it's a shit show.
This loser. He doesn't know what he's missing.
Yeah, what to say? It was. I mean, the scale just got better, it got bigger, it got. There was some fun. Actually, can you tell me what happened this season? I don't really remember what happened. I remember it being awesome. But...
What happened? What do you want? What can I give you?
I don't know. Like right now, I'm just thinking of Matt Smith's like. That wasn't even the best part of the show, but all I can think of is Matt Smith's freaking mental deterioration thing. Yeah.
Yes. But and then he had a flash forward and saw like all the events of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay, so Eamon and Aegon's thing that was fantastic this season.
Yeah.
Aemon's rise is Aemon the
eye patch guy,
quirky one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Aegon as a kind of incompetent ruler, that was great. I think the 2 female leads are still fantastic. There were some awesome combat sequences with dragons, and I don't know, it's just great. It's a great time, Jane. It's just a good, little good some fantasy snacks. It's
yeah, you seem to be able to hold on to these 8 episodes really well. So your memory has really impressed me. I think I will go and subject myself to fucking 8 episodes of that.
I love how Jaden's just like in a spot where he's just had to double down on this so hard.
Yeah,
the whole House of the Dragon hate.
I feel like I've had to double down on so much hate in this fucking show. I feel like I'm a hateful person when I'm not. I don't even dislike Zendaya that much. I'm like, it's just that I feel like she's overpraised. That's the only thing, man. And I feel like I'm made to demonize her. But it's fun for the bit, I guess.
Yeah, you do it voluntarily. I mean, you're not made to do anything. Let's be real. But yeah.
I mean, if I came out to defend myself, you'd be like, "Nah, you're weak." So I feel like I am made to do it.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, it creates entertainment for the audience anyway, and for me. Obviously, Hot D is my number one. I want you guys to close your eyes and imagine making a show this good. You know what I mean? Because I can't. It's just that fucking good. The only thing that sucked about this season was that it was only 8 episodes. Why wasn't it 10? Come on now. That's poor. You know what I mean? Give me 2 more. But no. To be fair, I actually was surprised it was only 8 episodes. When we got to the 8th episode, I just assumed, because every season has always been 10s, I just assumed it'd be 10. And then we got to the 8th one, I realized it was the last one, I was so bummed. Because I just wanted to keep going. Performances were just phenomenal. The upping of the scale, like Fitzy mentioned, in some of the big action sequence they do in episode 4 was like, I mean, Jaden would probably still shit all over it, to be honest, but it was awesome. It was
Can you
really,
actually
really
see
cool.
the action? Or?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Oh.
Yeah. Nuclear warfare in A Song of Ice and Fire, you know what I mean? That's what that shit was, and it was pretty sick. Yeah. I can't say enough good things about Olivia Cook and Emma Darcy. I think they are so good. I think their screen presence is just top notch. And every time they get to interact this season, it's like fucking magnetic shit. You know what I mean? They hit that shit up. And I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if there was some controversy around the ending in terms of people not vibing with it, sort of being a bit cliffhangery. I thought it was. I do get it. I do get it. But I just thought, because it is definitely, there's no doubt it's cliffhangery. But it just left me on such a high to like want to get to the next season in a positive way. I think, I guess it's about making the distinction of, are people disappointed in it because they wanted to see the next episode, which is obviously what they want to achieve, or, you know, were you let down by it in some actually specific ways, which is obviously, you know, arguably fair enough depending on what it is. But for me, it was the former. For me, it was like, I'm disappointed because I want more right now, and they did their job. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's how I felt about it. I don't know if you agree with that, Fitzy, but I thought the ending, like that final shot with it was just stunning, you know?
Oh, it's hard to get into spoilers because I didn't feel like they gave us enough in the actual finale to justify that kind of cliffhanger. But
pretty serious criticism against your favorite show of the year.
Oh,
like, can you like
time out?
Yeah, time out, dude. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there was just a few too many loose threads, I think, hanging in the kind of ending. I guess it's a matter of like, it's a matter of like a threshold, like, I guess, but yeah.
No, I get what you mean. I think a lot of people felt that way too, but it totally worked for me.
My dad was asking like, "Where's the next episode of House of Dragon?" for like 3 weeks afterwards.
But yeah, okay. I mean, that sounds like a good thing to me, unless, you know, I don't know how disappointed he was, but that sounds like a good thing to me. I was thinking the same thing, but I was getting my fix through the podcast, and the podcast was great too. So
pretty clear winner there, Hot D, and then Arcane.
I mean, hey, I'll take that. That's good. Did you guys have any honorable mentions? I had a few.
I think The Acolyte's the only thing that really came close to threatening top 3.
Okay.
Fallout was good, but not great. And same with Boys Season 4.
Yeah, where did the Boys land for you, Fitzy, this year?
I might have forgot that was this year, but
couldn't have made it.
No, I don't think so. I think was this season 3. I think was a lot stronger. This was okay, I guess. But I think Ripley was the other contender. Just for the kind of different vision, the Caravaggio kind of vision of Ripley, and the more kind of cold approach to it was interesting, but it just didn't quite land enough for me, despite Andrew's terrific performance and everything. So yeah, that's my honorable mention. Yeah,
cool. Yeah, Jaden already was on the right track when he shouted out 3 Body Problem and thought it might come up again, because it was the one, dude, number 3 was a shit fight for me between that, Shogun, and 3 Body Problem. I couldn't decide for weeks, but I ended up deciding in Shogun's favour. Just. And I think it was mainly just because I didn't love like the VR sequences in the first few episodes of Three Way Problem.
That was it wasn't fantastic for me, but like I could get over it.
Yeah, I definitely got over it. By the end, I was all in. But yeah, it was the only thing that sort of hindered it a bit more than Shogun didn't have any equivalent. So, that's the only reason it didn't quite make it. Hacks was awesome this year, such a funny show. And Arcane, I haven't finished Arcane. I don't think it would have made it my top 3, but it could have been, it'd be like in the top 5, I guess, for me. All right. As always, now we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what have been your favourite movies and TV shows released in 2024? I think we got quite a few answers this year, which I'm very pleased with. Thank you, everyone. Dr. Luke said, top 5 movies are Deadpool and Wolverine, Gladiator 2, Monkey Man, The Fall Guy, and How to Make Gravy. He wrote in his 3 TV shows are Arcane Season 2, Fisk Season 3, and Fallout Season 1. A lot of people like Fallout, Jaden, you know? I think we're in the minority on it.
Yeah, I honestly think the environment's like the big killer for me. It's like, it's too CG, man.
Yeah, that's fair. I felt that a bit as well. Dr. Leanne wrote in and said, my favourite shows that were released in 2024 were number 5, One Night, number 4, Black Doves. That's the Keira Knightley one on Netflix.
Yeah, I've been keen for that one.
That looks cool. Number 3 is The Gentleman. Number 2 is Baby Reindeer. Wait. And number 1 is Boy Swallows Universe.
Oh, you watched
that? Oh, yeah. She was into that, yeah.
Yeah, nice one. Very cool. Fitzy, do you want to... I'll do Andy last. So do we can go to the Instagram ones now and keep pumping them out.
Okay, yeah. Julie said Gladiator 2 for films. Yeah.
Very good.
Kevin said The Three Body Problem.
Nice.
Matt said Arcane.
Nice.
Jake, so he didn't really have anything that blew him away, but honorable mention to Ricky Stenicki.
Dude, that's actually like Ricky Stenicki right now would be in my top 10. I'm not even joking. It's actually a solid movie. Pretty funny.
Donna says Nobody Wants This, which I believe was a Netflix show, right? With
that had Kristen Bell in it.
Adam, what's his name?
Was it about like the Jewish and the Muslim thing dating? Yeah.
2 more series: The Last King of the Cross season 2 and Shrinking season 2.
Is Last King of the Cross, is that Australian?
Yeah. It's an Australian series, yeah.
Andy, I'll say Andy too. Not our Andy. Well, you're Andy, but not our Andy. He says Deadpool and Wolverine. For film, and then Steve says Memoir of a Snail for film, and Day of the Jackal for series, which has Eddie Redmayne.
That's right. Isn't he like a spy thing?
Yeah. That's been really piqued my interest.
Yeah, there was a film. It's based off a film that was about. This has any French prisoner. And then Thomas says Twisters, which is also a decent.
Oh yeah,
film. Yes.
Nice.
So all right, lots of responses this year. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Those some good answers. Some good answers, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't know about Day of the Jackal until I don't know, halfway through its airing time. I heard about it, and I was looking into it. I was like, this seems awesome. Yeah.
I feel like it's got you written all over it. I feel like it's kind of got me written all over it. Got to jump in. Andy wrote in and said, "I'm unable to reveal my top 5 movies as I usually wait till near my birthday to publish my yearly list, but I can name 3 standout surprises." Yeah, huge boo to that. Come on, mate. You've had a year to know that how we roll here. But anyway, he's got 3 standout surprises that I've encountered this year, and they all happen to be Melbourne films. Memoir of a Snail, shout out again. Us and the Night, shout out again, made by Melbourne Cinephile, but set in a Queensland library. And The Organist. The only TV show I've probably watched this year was season 3 of Fisk. As someone who's seen Kitty Flanagan in Have You Been Paying Attention, this was the show for me, and it was also Dr. Luke's recommendation. Managed to get through the first 2 seasons and just finished the newest one. Wasn't really a binge since I watched them all patiently with my sister, so it was only an episode a day. Very, very disciplined there, Andy. Light and easy and comfortable watching that makes me grin. The other series I've scrolled through a bit but not cared enough about were Interior Chinatown on Disney+, which was apparently inspired by The Truman Show.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I've never heard of that one. Okay. Nice. Thank you, Andy. I'm glad Andy watched a TV show this year. That's new. That's pretty rare for Andy.
Other than Simpsons in season 29.
Family Guy. Yeah, that's right. Now it's time, though, to look back at the year that was with our Cinema Effect 2024 awards categories. This year, we have an expanded selection of categories related to the entire 5th season of Cinema Effect. So we'll start off with a variety of awards we've all selected winners for individually for everything we've reviewed this year. And we'll have a few categories towards the end celebrating just the podcast as well. I know we've all put a lot of thought into our categories. Isn't that right, Jaden?
Oh, genuinely I have. It's just that there was two that caught me out.
Okay. That's good. I'm not gonna lie. Me thinking through this is why I didn't finish Arcane, because I thought I was going to finish Arcane, and then me thinking through this took an extra night than I anticipated.
It took you fucking 80 minutes to think through this.
It took me 3 hours. Across 2 nights. Yeah. So, anyway, I don't know if I want people to know that. Let's kick it off with our first category, which, as tradition dictates, is best and worst performance.
So I've got a women and men, just to give more shouts and to kind of.
God, that's a good idea. We should do like best and worst actress, and anyway.
Yeah. For best performance, I'm giving it to Sora Lightfoot Leon for Horde. I think she's exceptional in that. Truly, as this kind of person on the fringe with mental, disorders and all that. And then for the bloke, I'll give it to David Johnson as Andy in Alien Romulus. We've spoke about that pretty extensively in the episode about but he is probably like the best android, I think, in terms of like performance wise and it's kind of duality, So
yeah, he was really really good.
And then when it comes to worst, genuinely none. Genuinely, I looked through this and I thought for ages. And I was like, I do not think that there's a single bad. I don't think there's a single performance I would call truly bad from the episodes, from the things we reviewed. And I said maybe if I had a gun to my head, I'd say Taylor Lautner in one of the Twilights. But genuinely, I wouldn't call anything bad.
It's a massive cop out, but best performance goes to Joseph Quinn for Horde, not for Gladiator 2. I thought he was I thought he was really great in Horde as a less volatile fringe person, as Jane kind of said. But yeah, I think he's great in that. And then worst goes to Joey Slotnick in Drive Away Dolls, who was he was one of the goons. He was the bald goon. It was like he was like, oh, you gotta be a people person, I know people. That's how I know the way of life is, like, to talk to people, and it was pretty bad. It was
yeah. Man, Horde got way too much appreciation already. I hope it doesn't come up again. All right.
Oh well.
Oh shit. Okay. Best performance is always one of the hardest ones. There are always so many to shout out. Jaden was smart, splitting it by gender. I didn't do that. But anyway, best performance is without a doubt Hugh Jackman in Prisoners as Caladova. It is an exceptional performance, and I think I did a really good job in our review of like justifying why 15 minutes against Jaden, who didn't love it as much, but just absolutely to me should win like Academy Award for like the best performance of that decade. It was just unbelievable. I just that scene where he learns, like, he identifies the sock of his child and he thinks that's confirmation that she's dead, and the way he breaks down is just unbelievable. And then immediately starts blaming Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, transformative performance, and feels so different to the dude. It's unbelievable. So yeah, shout out to that. Jaden, I take issue with you because while I agree with you there were no bad performances this year. There were no truly bad performances, and I agree in the sense I feel a little bit bad saying this, but the category is worst performance, not terrible performance. And the worst performance this year was Taylor Lautner in Twilight.
Yeah, okay.
Which one? Which Twilight is he the worst in?
I chose Breaking Dawn Part 1. Where he's like doing all this weird shit. You know, he's like going in there, walking in their house, like yelling at them for no reason. You know, he's like creating all this unnecessary drama.
Yeah, but is that a fault on Taylor's acting, or?
Well, not that specific aspect I just mentioned, but I'm saying in those scenes.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And don't forget the scene where he like had to voice act with the wolves. You know, when they were like talking telepathically.
Shit, yeah.
The voice acting, maybe just for that. That was in Part 1. So yeah. Look, I don't think he was terrible.
That's fucking pisser. Yeah.
I don't think he was terrible. I don't mean a dunk, but I feel like for me it was pretty clearly the worst performance of the year. Yeah. Next, we're moving on to best score.
Best score. I mean, yeah, I think it's always tough with these categories because we review short films, you know. Like that's
that's right.
For me, it was The Great Gatsby, though. You know, I spoke about it in the review when we did it. But that score was very important to me. But I also think it's brilliant. I think what Craig Armstrong does with the sound mixing as well, with some like the pop songs that they had like made for the film, like Lana Del Rey's "Young and Beautiful," all of the XX's, Castle Gone Dark. I think it's really fantastic stuff. And I listened to it. It's probably like my most listened to soundtrack, to be honest. My most listened to score. Sorry.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I know you love the film, obviously, but most listened to score. That's high. That's high praise right there. Don't know about the Lana Del Rey shout out, but that's okay. No problem.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad with this because like last year I gave best score to Oppenheimer, and it's a similar thing this year where like it's a film which can kind of move between the categories, and I could give I could kind of give it to anything, but best score goes to Dune Part 2, which I thought was fantastic. It added the kind of mystic element that was the kind of like a more meditative kind of thing, and it was just kind of integral to the greatest sci-fi experience of the year. I remember.
Of the decade.
Yeah, of all time, actually.
Very good choice. Hans kicking ass, as you'd expect, for sure. My best score goes to Dario Marinelli's score, of course, for Atonement, because that score fucking rocks. Watched it twice this year, so it really got to sink in. And I listened to it a bit as well, but yeah, just phenomenal. The use of the typewriter is such a genius choice, man. Such a great choice to frame the narrative. And just that also that score in that final sequence, you know, where like the beach scene and the reveal and the narration from older Bryony, God, it's beautiful. Just really hits really devastating stuff. So yeah, huge shout out to that score. Awesome stuff.
It was on TV the other day, and I started watching it. I was like, I can't watch from like, you know, it was just after the accusations. So I was like, I can't keep on watching it. I was like, I need to rest. I need to start at some other point.
Yeah, it deserves that. Okay, best cinematography award.
This one was a bit more clear to me, although like yes, it's a strong year, but it goes to Fury Road. Just very clever in its use of the camera, especially in the action sequence. We talked about it a bit in the review, but it's kind of not centering on the on the actors as the action's happening in this kind of unique way. And then also there's some just incredible establishing shots and some really beautiful images. But for an action film to keep a camera so tight is fantastic. And I think they did break a few cameras, but you know, it is what it is. Because they got the results. Fury Road from there.
Yeah, nice one. Fitzy.
Atonement for best cinematography. I kind of had Atonement and best score. I was going to say like the same shit you just said, and I was going to have Doom Part 2 for this, but like, I don't know. I felt this made slightly more sense to me. I don't know why, but yeah, like the shot, like through the fog of like, what's her name? Natalie Portman.
Yeah. Where she's standing on the staircase at the front of the house, right?
Yeah, that stuff. The Dunkirk stuff. all the kind of war sequences are just like amazingly shot, and the whole film is just like very, very lush in its kind of cinematography. So yeah, I'll give it to Atonement.
Yeah, that's an awesome choice. My best cinematography goes to one of the GOATs, Roger Deakins, for Prisoners, because it's such a well shot film. But the first thing I always think of now is that low res photo I posted on Instagram that Jane made fun of me for, because it's one of the best shots in the film of like the caravan and like Jake Gyllenhaal slowly walking towards it in that blue light. It's like stunning. I just think of Jane making fun of me. But anyway, yeah, just awesome atmosphere building stuff from Roger. Shots that we talked about, shots of like the neighborhood, the suburban houses, and it's how it creates that world that the characters are playing in and have to, find the kids in. It's, I don't know, it's very, it adds a lot to the film overall. It's kind of crazy how much it adds to it, even though there's not, outside of the caravan shot, there's not a ton of like specific like, oh, that's stunning shots, but I feel like the whole thing just works to create that atmosphere that then creates this chilling feeling for you throughout, that then builds and pays off in the end when it all comes together. Yeah. So yeah, for sure, Prisoners, best cinematography for me. But we'll see if there's some overlap here. We'll go to best shot, best specific shot in a film.
My best shot comes from Romulus, but as we discussed before the show, I don't want to spoil it for Liam, so I'll avoid it. And like, yes, there is overlap because my best shot, it does come from Prisoners, and it is the caravan sequence, or that shot there, especially as Detective Loki's kind of coming up to it, and then the rain, the fucking blue,
the rain, kind of
the mist, and kind of being hidden in the bushes. And, dude, so good. Yes, yeah, best
that
shot
shit
there.
slaps for sure. Fitzy.
I probably could kill him with a better one, but mine is the shot in Lost in Translation of Johansson leaning on Murray's shoulder in that kind of hallway or whatever. I think that's just a very iconic shot. So I'll give it to that for just its iconicness.
Yeah.
I like that.
I was debating a few from Lost in Translation as well.
Yeah, there's only a few you could pick from.
For sure.
I won't say the opening shot. Other shots.
No, but there's like shots of like her like overlooking Tokyo in her hotel room, or like I think even like some like there's like a laconic quality to like some of the stuff with Murray.
Yeah, there's a shot
when he's on the streets. I love.
Or like Murray looking out the window, and you kind of see the reflection in the window, or like the lights of Tokyo. It's really great as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously the best shot, it's kind of a cop-out, but like the best shot and like the best shot I've ever seen in my life is obviously Dunkirk and Atonement, the one take. It's fucking it's like, how do they do this shit? I don't get it. That film was Fitzgerald shout out cinematography. The DP was Seamus McGarvey on the film, and I watched the behind the scenes shit of like him and Joe and like everyone putting it together, and it's just I honestly I don't know how they did it. It's insane. They like took a whole day. So they had one day, and they had the beach, and they had 1,000 extras, and there's like in the behind the scenes stuff, it's like shows the level of coordination. Like the artistry of it is kind of in the in just like the analytical organizing of it. Like it's almost just like, how do you organize people? It's sort of it sort of takes away. It sort of becomes something you don't think as much in filmmaking. But it literally just was like people on megaphones shouting, like, put that there, do that, all the assistant directors and production managers and everyone working together to make it happen. Yeah, insane achievement, insane feat. And in the director's commentary, like Joe was pointing out all these different, like, there's different elements of the shot that actually weren't quite in the shot like they intended, because they could only do it so many times. And like the take they ended up going with, because it was the best one, still lost a few things that were in other takes. You know what I mean? So they had as many takes as they had, and then they had to choose the best one. But then even that still quite didn't get it. Like he pointed out certain characters he wanted to get in the frame that didn't quite get in because of the way that take went. So anyway, incredible stuff for sure. Best Director Award.
Yeah, this one was pretty straightforward to me as well. Goes to Baz, Greg Gatsby.
Oh yeah.
And I think I'm pretty sure I said as much in the episode. In that I think it's the greatest kind of achievement of a single vision, of his vision of Gatsby. And it comes together in all departments, from editing to, even his CG to, actors dressed, everything. I think it's hard to not give it to Baz, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a strong one for sure.
Mine is George Miller for Furiosa, which was a wacky epic of sorts. Just just as much as Baz Luhrmann is, Baz Luhrmann's Great Gatsby, this is a very George Miller coded vision. So yeah, it's uncompromising direction right there. So yeah, George Miller.
Who would have thought a Mad Max film looks like George Miller?
Yeah, my best director is Denis Villeneuve, because he had 2 films this year that we did, and they're both phenomenal. Both of which the direction is the best part of them. You know what I mean? So I feel like he's such a clear, strong. You feel him in both. I don't think any. I mean, obviously, especially Dune. I think I don't think any other filmmaker could pull off what he does on Dune. And Prison's obviously a very strong directed product as well. So yeah, sort of a no-brainer for me for overall the year that we had. But I also considered Sofia Coppola for this, because I thought her direction for Lost in Translation was what made that film phenomenal as well, and how it played with me and my expectations throughout the story as well.
Has Danny won previous year awards for Best Director? I feel like he has.
Probably. I don't know, but he's surely I
was going to say 2049, but that's the year we did Little Women, so I think I would have given it to Gerwig.
I think Zach's given Denis before, but I'm not sure.
Oh, Sicario, maybe?
Yeah, that's possible.
Arrival as
well. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, sure.
We've done most of his bangers.
Yeah.
Okay, best and worst CG.
I don't want to say... Yeah, okay, so I got 2. One of them is probably going to get said another time, so I'm going to avoid it. But I'll give best CG to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's the same story as the other Planet of the Apes films. These apes are just fucking phenomenal, man. And when they're wet, oh my god, dude, wet apes, wet fur, and it looks like that. In these backgrounds, on these half-built sets, it truly is brilliant. It's great work. Worst CG is pretty obvious as well, but this one I will say, because it is the worst. And that is Baby Renesmee in Breaking Dawn Part 2.
Yep. But also special shout out to her in Part 1 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, these are kind of just like a gimme. Best is the creator, obviously. And worst is Renesmee.
Yeah, this one I've got the same answers. CG for the creator was phenomenal. Loved the integration with the live action stuff and how they're able to work that into, totally rethinking how they made the film and the order in which they, did everything with the budget and were able to achieve that. Just best use of CG, and it looked great as well, you know what I mean? Renesmee and the Wolves I also had for Twilight. But I do have to give a special shout out to Jenna Malone Spider in Rebel Moon Part 1.
Because it wasn't appealing, or do you think it actually looked bad?
It didn't look great. No, I don't feel it looked terrible, but it didn't look great, and it's just it's really gross. It's just not an appealing design at all. And I didn't really appreciate seeing Jenna Malone like that. You know what I mean? Well, we can do better.
Okay.
But yeah. Best and worst editing.
Best goes to Gatsby. Worst was a hard one, but I gave it to Drive-Away Dolls just because of that amateur quality that we did talk about. That it kind of felt like it had, and I think some of it could be given to the editing.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting pick. I mean, best. I guess I'm a bit surprised for. I don't know why. I should be, but yeah, it was a breakneck pace for Gatsby.
Yeah, I always have a trouble with picking the best for editing. I think I say the same thing every year, but it's just like it's hard to determine what is good editing because you don't know like how much was left on like the cutting room floor and what they actually had to work with and what goes
you went in the room
behind the scenes. But best goes to Seven, just because I think it's kind of I just chose it because it was like I don't know. I think all the filmmaking elements in Seven are kind of just perfection, and editing is just one big part of that. So yeah, I mean, I think the way the film switches like between different levels of momentum, I guess, is one way in which the editing is great, but it's just kind of great overall. So it goes to 7. And worst is Drive-Away Dolls for the transitions and just kind of the awkward nature of the whole film. So
yeah, I did not even think of the transitions. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Drive-Away Dolls is definitely a slam dunk answer. I didn't put it though because I put best and worst editing. I gave them both to The Departed because it's got some phenomenally edited sequences. I love the whole final shootout with Leo and the way that's constructed, and I'm like, I totally disagree with Andy's take on that one in particular. But then I also, and I love the goddamn shot of Martin Sheen falling and like the way they cut out the sound for that. It's a great choice. But at the same time, Marty, calm down with your hard cuts on some of the soundtrack. You know what I mean? Bit jarring at times. So it's probably the most editing stuck out to me this year. So I feel like it's kind of deserved in winning both best and worst editing. Okay, best and worst action sequence.
Best action sequence. Is it sequence or sequences?
Well,
sorry, because I already have sequences. Sorry.
Oh, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Best goes to Fury Road. Worst goes to Furiosa.
Hang on. But okay, yeah.
I think this is something we went over in the episode, but the action in Furiosa was like really subpar to me, and like a big part of it was because I don't know why. Apparently, you guys did hear sound. There was fucking no sound in those action sequences. It hardly felt like there was like sound effects, let alone score, and it was all just so boring. And like none of it was interesting. Like that guy flying in on the helicopter attacking the truck, like it was nothing interesting about it. There was like the action in Furiosa just did not interest me at all, especially compared to Fury Road. So yeah, best and worst. There you
go. Oh, so you interpreted
it as
George. Congrats, George. You interpreted it as like choosing a film that had the best action sequences.
Yeah, like
okay,
yeah, and the worst action sequences.
Gotcha. Well, for Fury Road, obviously makes sense. Yeah.
Well, worst goes to Fury Road for being the most overrated action sequences that we covered on the year. But best goes to Furiosa, the Bullet Town sequence in particular, which was amazing.
Okay, Bullet Town was good. I can concede that. No, that's fair.
I mean, Captain Jack, or whatever his name was incredible.
He had a great accent.
Oh yeah, everyone had a great accent in that film. But no, the worst is actually the lightsaber fight, Jenna Malone spider fight, Rebel Moon, A Child of Fire, Part 1, Part 2, Part 1. Yeah, that was really awkward. They underused that. The kind of Jedi character, whatever she was, and it's just very, very poor stuff. So
yeah, that was a short list for me. The best action sequence of the year was the final knife fight in Dune Part 2 between Austin Butler and Timothée Chalamet. Awesome choreography. They worked on it for weeks, and you can tell. Fantastic stuff. The worst, I don't appreciate that Fizzy's already done it as a bit because it's already my actual answer, and that is the entirety of Mad Max Fury Road because it's boring as fuck. Sorry, Jaden.
I want to say a word I can't say.
Me too.
The job of an action sequence is to ramp up an audience and get them invested in a sequence, and if you make it the whole movie and make it mid, then yeah, that's what it is. We've got a new category here, the Best Upcoming Actor Award.
I'm giving this to Kaylee Spaney. She has had an incredible past couple of years. She's been around for a bit now, but like I think these have really been the 2 years, 2023 and 2024. Romulus and Civil War this year, obviously Priscilla last year. And I think she's really going to keep on going. Hopefully, if she gets recasted as Ellie as well. So
it's not happening, bro. You can hold on to that dream.
Yeah, no, I think she's fantastic. And I think I think she's not currently mentioned amongst like the current A list of that's emerging of like Saoirse and Florence and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and kind of, but I think she will be soon.
I agree with that.
We'd be remiss to not talk about Joseph Quinn as the best upcoming actor because he's the Jude Law of our generation, obviously. But he was in 3 films that we did this year: Horde, Quiet Place Day 1, Gladiator 2. Excellent in all 3. So he's just a well-rounded, British figure, and hopefully he'll win some good shit in the upcoming years.
Well, was he excellent in A Quiet Place?
I mean, it's good enough. Like he was
like good as a scared little guy that was like running around and having anxiety attacks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Do you guys think Sophia Boutella is okay to count as this?
I mean, she's been around for a long time.
I know, but I feel like she's coming up. I feel like, you know what I mean? I feel like people, her status is rising.
Is it though? Because I haven't, like, what products what makes you feel like that?
Rebel Moon, isn't she in that new movie with Batista now?
Yeah, but like at the same time, you can just say Atomic Blonde and Kingsman as well as kind of
they're a while ago,
of like equivalent kind of status as those two, I'd say.
Yeah, no, I was pretty iffy on it. That's why I asked, and I agree with you in saying those films. So yeah, I'm not going to quite count that. So I'll go with Paul Mescal instead. He's awesome, and he's going to be a big player, I think, in the years to come. I'm looking forward to seeing what else he can deliver because Gladiator was awesome. Okay. We've got the Australian Shout Out Award, which is one I appreciate. That's a good idea. I like this one.
Mine goes to the cast and crew of The Organist. And then...
Hang on, we didn't review that movie.
Huh? Oh, fuck, sorry. It's one of you. No, but I thought because... Oh, dude, sorry. I just thought because it's Australian... What fucking Australian film did we do?
Even I like bought into that for a second.
Shit.
I was like, oh yeah, there they go.
Wait, did we do Australian
film? I mean, Great Gatsby.
No. Great Gatsby, sure.
Furious, Mad Max,
Yeah, sorry. I just thought it was I thought the Australian shout was kind of like an upcoming thing as well. So I was like, it's just like it's too narrow.
But like no, Australians involved. It doesn't have to be an Australian film. Like Australians involved in any film.
Actor, director, anyway.
Oh, you see, I kind of took Australian shout as being like, shout like the upcoming, like from the Australian scene, or like like maybe that kid in fucking Boys Over the Universe is really good to you, so like I give him a shout.
He was very good.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I took this as. I didn't even think about it in terms of the show.
That's okay. That's fine.
I don't know. There's not really any. I don't know. Not really anything that we did on the show.
Anything in particular about Greg?
No, but they're all established.
I mean, you should have Baz the award. I guess.
the thing, to me, Australian shout, like Baz doesn't need a fucking shout. Joel Edgerton doesn't need a shout.
Yeah, no, you're right.
George doesn't need a shout. That's what I was like, kind of.
Yeah. You're right about those. Yeah, you're right. No, that's fair enough. That's all right. Spooky's question was a bit nebulous, but we'll get it right next year. That's okay. Fitzy, how did you interpret this question?
I'll give it to Lila Brown, who was young Furiosa. I thought she was great at like setting the kind of early chapters in Furiosa's life, and she was just a good show performance.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and she was in way more of the movie than I ever expected. But yeah, she was good. My Australian shout out goes to Elizabeth Debicki for appearing in 2 films this year that we did, and totally convincing everyone that she's not Australian, even Christopher Nolan, but she is Australian, believe it or not. And I enjoyed Widows and Gatsby.
Oh yeah, right, Gatsby. Yeah. I forgot about Gatsby.
I figured Widows was the one you would have forgotten. That's funny. So I enjoyed going back to her earlier cinematic works, and of course, shout out to her. Okay, worst moment in a movie we reviewed.
This might be a bit of a shock to you guys, but
oh god,
it's the kiss in Lost in Translation.
Okay,
I think it really undermines a lot of the footwork the film had previously done, and it did like genuinely lower the film in my standings as from it. I'm sure there is actual worst moments, but in terms of like impact of a single thing, my reading of an entire product. It's that final kiss.
Wow. I mean, obviously very in line with what you said in the review, but yeah. Okay. No, I appreciate the way you interpret the question. Yeah, that is surprising though. That is surprising.
I wasn't thinking about it that way, but if I were to like take that line of logic, I'd say like the accent that Julie Delpy does at the in the end scene of Before Sunset was kind of cringe. But worst moment was the Loki moment in Twilight, Breaking Dawn Part 2. You know, what was it? What did he say? It was like the nickname for the baby. It was like Loch Ness or something. Or like Nessie. That's it. Yeah, Nessie. Yeah, that was
my
great.
daughter after the Loch Ness monster.
Nessie.
Yeah, no, she screamed that. She was so mad about that specific thing. Oh my god. Yeah, Fitzy, I don't like that you. I already had written down here the ending of Before Sunset for kind of killing the vibe for me. Yeah, so that's my answer for interpreting the question in that way that Jaden did in terms of impact on the rest of the film. But the actual worst moment was, sticking with Twilight, Bella waking up screaming in New Moon.
Dude, I saw someone on Twitter it was not long after we reviewed it. Someone posted a thing on Twitter and be like, "This is generally one of the best representations of like depression I've seen," or something like that. And I was like, and people were agreeing with it. It was like fucking 70K likes or some shit. And I was like, "Oh, what the fuck is wrong with you?"
Of depression.
Well, like, dude, my god.
I don't know if we should laugh at that, but I don't know. It was so comical, no? Like,
I'm surprised that, like, just it didn't come up to me. It didn't, because I forgot about it. But the wolf voices is one that I thought you'd say that for sure.
Shout out to that. Yeah, we mentioned that already. It deserves it. Where am I up to here? Best Picture. The favoritist movie we reviewed in 2024.
So is it best picture favorite, or is it best picture and favorite? Sorry.
No, it's just the.
Do we
your best picture?
Do we scrap accent? Do we scrap accent, or was that later?
Oh, I missed it. Fuck.
Oh,
Sorry.
I thought we were just getting to that later.
No. I missed it. Look, best and worst accent. We'll do that. Sorry. Thank you for pointing that out.
Best, I've got two. I've got KD in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes as Proximus. Is that what his name was?
Oh, okay.
And I've also got David Johnson as Andy. With his two. With his two forms.
Phenomenal choice.
If I had to pick one, it probably would be David Johnson, but I think KD definitely need to shout. Worst. Zendaya in Dune 2. She just does nothing with her voice and her performance. The rest of the cast feels like they're trying to do something different, whereas she's just American teen girl in the desert.
How are the rest of the cast doing something different? Florence Pugh is
How is Timothée Chalamet doing anything different?
I think if Timothy does something with his voice, especially towards the end. I mean, I'm not saying it's like we're not talking about. I'm just talking about why it's not like why she's voice. I think Timothy commands his voice, obviously as he commits more to the jihad.
Okay.
I
think he has this like kind of demand in it. I'm not,
yeah, but that's his arc. Like the rest of the background characters, like Florence Pugh, fucking Javier Bardem, they don't have it. They're not doing any special accents. Everyone's pretty much doing what they already have.
No, but I think they feel more in place with them than what Zendaya does. I think she just does less work with her voice.
I feel like we're now talking about vocal performance and not accent, though.
I mean, to be fair, that's what I kind of read accent as. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, you can make a case.
I mean, but like otherwise, like it wasn't an answer I came to easily, but it's just like I couldn't really pick another worse. So I was like, fuck it, I think this will be funny.
Okay, yeah. Sure. Yeah, it got us mad, so good job.
Yeah. I feel like I'm mentioning Furiosa too much at this point, but Dr. Dementos, Chris Hemsworth in Furiosa was fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, that was awesome. And the worst. I'm also just like mentioning this too much as like a worst choice, but Margaret Qualley has to be mentioned for a thick Southern accent in Drove Away Dolls. Unfortunately,
yeah, unfortunately indeed. My best is also Chris Hemsworth in Furiosa when he said "ready, steady." It was so good.
Go.
Yeah.
That's
Made me laugh so much. Yeah, he was great. And worst, 2 Aussie-related items here, but worst goes to Russell Crowe and Gladiator for just slipping in and out, man. Just slipping in and out. Good at times, but not good in other times. I think in the review, one of the things I said was like, I was trying to point out the exact lines he was saying in an Aussie accent, and then I went back and had another look at the film. And the lines specifically were when he was saying, hold the line, stay with me, hold the line. And it's like, dude, what the... Come on, mate. Yeah. That was like, we're not in Gallipoli, you know what I mean?
If he was in Gladiator 2, do you reckon really would have been like, no, just do your Australian accent, mate. Fuck it.
Yeah, probably. But he's like fat now. We don't want him in Gladiator 2. You know what I mean?
Wow, man.
Well, he doesn't belong in that world anymore.
Yeah, he's in the afterworld.
Yeah, oh yeah, he got fat in the afterlife. Maybe that makes sense. What were we doing? Oh, sorry, best picture. Back to that.
It's boring, but it's Great Gatsby. You know, it's oh, yeah. You know, I said as much in the review. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and I think it ekes it out over 7. Especially if I read it as like my favorite of the pictures that we did. You know, it's like, and then Gatsby would take it over 7. But if it's best picture, I think it's a bit closer.
Yeah, I mean, I think we called the award best picture just because it's, you know, it's like the awards thing. But like we're saying, our favorite movie we reviewed is what the category is. You know what I mean? So yeah, I get you.
Yeah, bit boring, but Atonement is mine. So yeah, not much competition really as well.
Atonement's obviously my best picture, but there were a few 9s this year that I would have had to think about if Atonement wasn't here. Atonement's obviously is the winner, but if it wasn't here, I would have had to think about it a bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got here most surprising picture, most surprising movie.
Yeah, I got a most surprising good and bad. Is that okay? Or
yeah, sure.
Yeah, most surprising good for me was Love Lies Bleeding. It's a film I wanted to see, but it's not a film I was expecting to like. But I'm, you know, I think I said I'm very happy that I didn't like it. I think it all worked well for me. Most surprising bad was Furiosa. I was so keen for it. I was so fucking keen for it, man. Obviously as like a lover of Fury Road, and I was just disappointed. Yeah.
Isn't that so funny? We're just totally flipped.
Yeah.
I love that.
My most surprising film was Horde. Just because, you know, Jaden told me about it, and Jaden told us about it, and I didn't really have any expectations for it. But that film it had a vision. It took us on a ride, and I think it stuck with me the same way Jaden kind of talked about. You know, I mean, what the director kind of said about it. It's 650, like what, like the sock behind the radiator or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. That's was the most surprising.
Yeah, nice. Very nice. My most surprising, I've got a bit of a double here, but it's the Twilight franchise in general, but specifically Twilight 1, of course, for us being vehement defenders of it and fans of it. And for me, I know you guys aren't as much in this camp, but Breaking Dawn Part 2 for being an enjoyable time. I was surprised, especially with the track record we were on, coming off of Part 1 being such a lame movie. And Part 2 won me over, won me back, surprisingly. So shout out to the bookend films in the Twilight saga. Okay. Now we got here some podcast categories. Best question of the week.
Best question of the week for me, I really liked some like the longer kind of essay ones that we could get to. And I think for one, I think the RDJ's pay was a fun one to discuss.
Yeah.
I think because me and Liam covered that. I think you weren't there for that episode, were you?
Yeah, I enjoyed writing in for it.
Yeah. And I think by the end of our discussion, I think I was kind of like fuck it, let him get his 80 mil. But as soon as that, I was like no, he could fucking 80 mil is ridiculous for what he's doing. Nah, come on, man. So I like the fact that the question, I kept on debating it, for a long time afterwards as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
it's probably the only question we've ever had that did that. Sticks with you, the question of the week.
Yeah, I didn't look through the question. I didn't go through the Discord or anything. I just kind of went with what I remembered. I have which of the 7 deadly sins do you commit the most? Which I thought it was a fun one. I thought it was self-revealing a bit. So
it was definitely revealing.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny scrolling through Discord and seeing what's your favorite moon phase come up. That's one of the questions.
That's so random. Yeah. I can't even remember what they're called now, but like I was so against was it the crescent moon or whichever one it was?
Waning or waxing crescent.
Yeah, whichever. Yeah. One of those I'm not a fan of at all. I can't remember what it's called now.
So there you go. There's another one that sticks with you.
Exactly. Yeah. I this year it was more so like in years past it's more been like the ones that are just funny questions or fun questions. This year it was less about the questions themselves and more the debates they inspired. I enjoyed. So like the RDJ one was also my favorite, but like on the same wavelength, I enjoyed who was the quintessential Martin Scorsese actor. Just because I feel like I personally got fired up about that one. Early in the year I enjoyed should directors get as much credit as they do for films, because that one I still think about that one sometimes. Like when I'm watching stuff, that one comes up for me. I guess my rant on boredom in what is the least useful Inside Out 2 emotion was pretty good as well. I actually enjoyed that. Yeah. So yeah, no, they're actually so. I kind of couldn't think of any off the top of my head, but then when I scrolled back, I'm like, oh yeah, there's a few to choose from. I enjoyed these. All right, we got best duo episode. Choose your favorite friend time, baby.
My best duo episode is not because of that reason. It's because it's Romulus, because I just loved geeking out about that film. I loved just being able to gush about everything in that fucking film, man. And just being able to get, like, just to talk about it. Yeah, dude. Romulus was probably like one of my favorite episodes of the year. And as a duo episode, sure, I guess, because of what it is, you know, I guess it takes it.
Yeah, nice.
Well, my best duo episode was one which I wasn't in, but it was Prisoners, which I thought was just a very solid episode. I don't know. Was it? I think was the Bluey discussion in that one, or was it? Was that something else?
Oh, that might have been Dr. No?
Yeah, actually, I think you're right on that. But no, the debate on, which you mentioned earlier, the debate on like Hugh Jackman and whether or not he was on Jake Gyllenhaal's level on that, and just the kind of coverage of Villeneuve and the cinematography. I think it was all very solid stuff. So it was an enjoyable episode to listen to.
I'm glad. Thank you. Best duo episode, to give the praise back to you guys, for me was Good Night and Good Luck, of the two that you did together. Most enjoyable. I was impressed in a good way of how long you're able to talk about the film, because it is kind of a short film. Like, didn't it turn out like if you take out real world footage, it's like an hour and 10 minutes or whatever?
Something like that.
But yeah, I don't know. You kept the conversation interesting about the global political state of things and McCarthyism.
Mm-hmm.
Just making sure I get like the word right. But yeah, that was a good one for sure. The best one I was on, I probably enjoyed Lost in Translation the most with you, Jaden, I would say. Just a great film. I enjoyed your passion for it. And then I was like, it was like amping up my passion for it because it was awesome. So yeah, those are my answers for that. Favorite episode of the year, though?
I'm really sorry, Liam, because you weren't here for this one either, but my favorite episode was Horde.
Really? Okay.
Just because it's probably like because it goes back to what I was saying in that episode about like really looking into a film and trying my hardest, to actually think about things and analyze it, and, praise this and that. Like it's the one I tried the most for, because I felt like it, I felt like it was warranted, and also I think it just deserved it a bit. I don't think I really stuck to my, I think I tried to make a bit of it like I'm going to try to be a bit more analytical going forward, but I don't think I really stuck to it.
See, you were resenting me because I couldn't be there for the analysis, but I helped you in the end. I brought out this side of you by not being there.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Interesting. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, you helped me a lot in that episode. Speaking of the thematics of it.
My favorite episode was I'm Not There, which was I don't know. I just remember being a very enjoyable episode. I feel like we successfully peeled back the layers of that film together, and some episodes are just, they have a certain chemical fragrance to them that just you can't really explain, but they're just it was a good time. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. You know, everyone has better weeks, and weeks where it all vibes. And yeah, you're totally right about that. My favorite episode of the year was The Creator, for a very obvious reason.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was the debut of this new format that we've gone with here. I feel like this, by the way, bit of face cam reflection here. Now that it's been almost a year, which is kind of nutty, but I don't know. I feel like it's paid off. I feel like our views are just much higher and much more like consistently, like just up the level of consistency. You know what I mean? Where like we were talking in the realm of, I don't know, like 20 to 60 maybe as sort of a range, and now we're like very consistent. Now it's sort of like notable if an episode doesn't get 100. And I feel like cameras a huge, probably the biggest factor in that this year. I'm happy with that for sure. In terms of our, it's all about the growth. It's all about the subs, man. I had a look at like what our most viewed episode of the year was, and it was Before Sunrise with over 5K views somehow. And that one didn't even have camera, which is, sort of sucks. But I guess so that one we win. Like what's the Golden Globe category for like best box office achievement or whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah.
That's our best box office achievement award winner of the year is Before Sunrise, which had no fucking visual element to it. But there you go.
How much of your retention did it have? That's the question.
Oh God, probably so little. God.
Did they make it past the intro song?
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. I feel like our viewer retention, it's got to be a bit better. I think our retention has
got a bit better.
I mean, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, obviously, webcam's been the biggest change we've made this year, and I don't know. I feel is it just? I assume it's just normal for you guys now. I don't know how. For me, it became normal very quickly. I don't know if there was more of a transition for you guys, but like I sort of can't really imagine it without doing it now.
Yeah, I think I sunk into it pretty fast.
Yeah. This is the first time. I don't know why. I mean, before the episode started, I was going to say that I feel anxious, and I don't know why. But this is the first time I felt anxious on camera since like, a few episodes after the Creator. It did die pretty quickly. So,
yeah, good. I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, when you get a tie on, it sort of changes a bit, changes the atmosphere a little bit.
I just think it was so funny that before we flicked them on, our discussion, I was like, if Liam wants to do it, we'll do it, because I just didn't expect him to say yes to it. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm down. I was like, fuck. But
oh man,
I guess yeah.
But you're glad we did it.
Yeah, I think it's all fine now. Okay,
Okay, good. I'm glad. Okay, that's it. We've been here a minute, but that's it for another year of Cinema Effect. We appreciate anyone who tuned in throughout the year. We appreciate you. Appreciate anyone who's listening right now. Cinema Effect will return for our sixth season in 2025. At least I think we actually haven't talked about it. Are we? Do you want to come back? Do you want to do it again?
We already have got plans for Conclave.
Yeah. So I get, but I guess, but it was assumed. Like I no, we never actually sat down and like, so we want to do this shit again, or. But yeah, I guess we do. So that's cool. No objections anyway. Fitzy, do you want to tell us what the first film we're doing next year is?
I believe the first film we're doing next year is Conclave, but I could be wrong.
It is.
I don't know.
No, it is. Yeah, you're dead on. Yeah, very cool. It comes out here it's been out in Yankee Land, but in Australia comes out like a week, like I think like January 8th or something, wasn't it? Like first about a week into January-ish is what it was. So got to wait a minute, but remember, keep it on your calendar. Check it out in the cinema, and we'll see you with a review about a week later with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing that one for sure. I want to, of course, give an extra special thank you to Liam and Jaden, as always. But, stick around for another year. I feel like, it's one thing to say, oh, yeah, thanks for hanging out with me for an hour. But then when or in this case 2, but when it accumulates, it's like, it's a whole year, it's a whole year. It's a lot of time. So thank you for being here every week. It'll be our 5-year anniversary of doing this weekly early next year, which is nutty. So, I guess I shouldn't have given you an option if you want to continue or not. We have to continue that at the very least. Mate, hit the 5 years. It's probably going to work out. We're probably going to hit the 5-year anniversary and then like miss our first week right after.
Yeah.
Or like close to right, you know what I mean? Like we're going to hit every week consistently, 5 years in a row, and then we're going to fucking drop the ball for the first time right after. But we made it to that point, so it's okay. It's fine. So yes, appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you to everyone else for listening. We hope everyone out there has a happy and safe holiday. Take care, and goodbye.